you are gonna see some cool ass shit.
Yeah, you don't want 2 Flavor Flays.
Heart transplants, brain surgeries. I've seen it all.
Dude, that's fucking dope.
Walk up and just get it, whatever it is.
Yeah, brother.
I'm trying not to laugh, bro, but Josh is fucking killing me.
Well, guess what Navy SEALs do, motherfucker? They communicate and they're on the same fucking page.
Whoa. Welcome back to the Happy Hoodlums podcast. It's your boy, the Happy Hoodlum himself, Mr. Kemper Woodruff, looking dope like Leon from The Professional. We got the Meat Fortress himself, Mr. Zack Sampson, with a whole lot of depth on his camera. And from the Blue Man crew, Josh Taylor, the baby hoodlum of the dope squad, I guess,
Yeah,
for lack of a
buddy.
better term. What's going on, guys?
Oh, you know, man.
Nothing much. Yo,
Another
Zach,
day.
what's up on your wall now?
What are you talking about?
Or am I
Curtain?
tripping? Did you put a curtain up?
Curtain? Yeah,
Heck yeah.
just a black curtain.
Nice. Hey, it
Yeah.
looks nice. Looks like you're
Yeah.
putting the room together a little bit.
His room does look a little different.
Camera's at a new angle. We got some light.
Camera's at the same angle.
Wow.
Lights
it
at a
is?
different angle.
Lights.
I think it's that he
wow.
put. Did you move your Faltered Son poster?
Everything's
No,
the same. The lights
Everything's
at a
the
different angle.
same. Wow.
Uh,
You sure?
I don't know. You look
Everything.
better than ever.
I promise. Everything is the same except for the curtains and the
Wow.
light is at a different angle.
Maybe it's the lighting.
Yeah,
Looking good, dude.
I don't know.
Wow.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But
Thanks, guys.
A man.
anyways,
whose
without
craft.
further ado,
Yep.
me and Zach were putting some finishing touches on a video today, and thus the shades had to come back out. But
Okay.
in doing that, it really gave me another level of appreciation and a fresh reminder of what collaboration is really all about and how working as a team really has unseen benefits, you know,
Yeah.
in terms of just what you experience. Like, it's no matter what, your experience is going to be your own. And like, I recently discovered this place, or it found me kind of, and it's called the Vedanta Society. And so I was doing some like gardening with the Swami there, and it, I hadn't done anything like that in a long time. And I grew up gardening with my mom, and it's an interesting thing because you're kind of like designing life and taking life in, kind of looking at it, and it's just a very grounding process. And I think it's different from collaboration, but it's kind of the same. There's some levels that seem I don't know what word I'm looking for. Like, they're similar. So like, cuz we're designing something when we're editing a film and really changing like the narrative and the story, which is kind of like what you're doing with life, but you're doing it with two minds just coming together. And I think it's a really rewarding process.
Facts.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's
Team-based bond building.
I don't know. I enjoy working on shit with people. So it's like, I don't know. There's especially if you work well with the person that you're working with,
Dude.
you can learn a lot.
Yeah. And get a lot done.
Yeah, and it's kind of, there's a message in everything. And I think if you're just willing to see it and observe and seek it out, you'll have a much more like that fulfilling experience is always there. Like, and it can be in things that seem frustrating at first. Like, this week it's been getting colder, and I've noticed like ants coming up out of my sink, in my bathroom.
What?
Just looking around for stuff.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just like, rather than being like frustrated, I've just started to look at life and like respect life differently. And so I was like, what do these ants symbolize, right? And so I looked up like what an ant symbolizes in like spiritual cultures, I guess, and it's like stability and like steadfast workmanship, um and just kind of it went right in line with this whole theme that's running through my life and what I really want to be at the forefront of my life, which is being of service, you know? I think that's really the only job there is in the universe, is to be of service in whatever creative way you come about, you know? You got to put work in. And when I'm looking at these little ants, I was like, dude, these little guys are out here working hard. They're strong, like they're able to climb up a wall. I'm like, what the fuck? And I don't know, there's just a lot of depth in the lessons of like what an ant does, you know? It seems small, but
Yeah.
it's big because it's all for the community, you know?
Have you ever seen have you ever seen a I think it's not carpenter ants, but there's these ants that build super colonies.
Hmm.
And what some people have done is they'll find an abandoned one and they'll fill it with concrete and then excavate it. And what they found out is that they build these massive metropolises underground. And there's not only like a super crazy system to what they're doing, but what they do, it's also extremely intelligent.
Hmm.
And so they've got not only just like different cavities and different rooms for different things, they also have like super highways in their fucking shit. And so they'll have super highways that go from one spot to another, from one spot to another, and so forth and so on. And these things will be like 20 feet by 20 feet, but underground, right? And what they found out is these ants, leafcutter ants, is the ants that do this, and they'll build these rooms to ferment the leaves to grow the fungus that they eat. I think it's fungus, but what they have to do is they also have to build oxygen tunnels to get air into those rooms to ferment them. And so they have these big ass rooms that go up with tubes to fill with air, and then they also have different rooms for uh the larva and things like that and their trash. And so it's like, or their dead bodies and shit like that. And so it's like ants do some pretty spectacular stuff underground, all in collaboration, but they don't even think about it. They just do it
Hmm.
because it's part of their heart, like they're hardwired into this mindset of like collaboration. It's part of their nature in essence.
Yeah. And we
Crazy to
all have
see.
a nature,
Yeah.
you know? It's just we have the ability to become self-aware, and we have like free will of like conscious imagination and choice over our words, you know?
Yeah.
Because really, like, if you look at almost all religions, it comes back to like the spoken word, you know, and the
Yeah.
power of the word shaping your consciousness, and in turn who you become and what you wind up doing by what you wind up doing, pretty much, you know?
Hmm.
And I think that's a huge part of like what's missing is the stuff that this Vivekananda, let me find this. That's what this dude was talking about. And he was pretty radical, like back in the day, um, like the late 1800s, like 1893. He came to America and was giving this speech um, at some like Parliament summit. It was like a religious convention in Chicago, I believe. And he was telling everybody like it doesn't matter what religion you like seek God through, you know, or if you even choose a religion. He was like, because if it doesn't lead you to this understanding of like oneness and unity, with all of creation, you know, then you miss the whole fucking point. And once you discover that, you realize how many people like and you realize who you are and your creative ability, and that is what all these ascended masters, the yogis, the Jesuses, Muhammad, all these people came to teach us these things, Buddha. And they may have a different methodology of going about it, but it's to realize like God within yourself and that you have that same creative power. That's why they say like we are made in the image of God. um at least in the Bible they say that. And yeah, basically he was like, but once you realize that, you got to start putting in work. Like it doesn't matter if you don't work for something, if you don't do something for the greater good and the greater collective. And it's just so interesting that if you observe nature, you see everything working together, and that everything, like each tree, we can have two different kinds of the same tree, right? Or like you could have three apple trees and they all look different, right?
Mhm.
They're all doing the same thing, but they express themselves differently.
Yeah, nature is pretty crazy because, well, it's also like there's this documentary on Netflix called The Magic Mushroom, I believe, or the Magic Fungi or something like that.
Fantastic fungi, I think, is what it is.
Fantastic Fungi.
Uh-huh.
And in that it talks about um the well, it discusses the idea that plants and fungi specifically is intelligent, and
Hmm.
there's a lot that not just fungi does, but trees in general do and plants in general do. And so, like, for example, fungi actually helps redistribute nutrients to and from other trees. um
Mm.
and another example of how like nature itself is intelligent, and I'm sure I'm actually very confident I talked about it on the podcast before, but it's this there's like this type of maple tree, I think, some type of tree, oak tree or whatever. um but it can literally send signals. Well, one, it can change its flavor profile so that it doesn't taste good to caterpillars,
Hmm.
right? So when it senses that its leaves are being eaten, it changes its flavor profile. Um,
Whoa.
but also when it's being eaten, it sends signals to other trees, even across the forest, to change its flavor profiles so that it can't be eaten as well. But what scientists also found out is that if they just played the sound of a caterpillar eating a leaf, it would change its flavor profile.
What?
Yeah. And so I wish I knew which tree it was. I think it's an oak tree or a maple tree of some kind. But yeah, this shit was crazy, bro. And this is talked about, I believe, in the Fantastic Fungi documentary, unless I'm remembering it from somewhere else. But just in general, like nature and plants have a level of intelligence that we don't even understand yet. And we continue to say that nature's not, or like some people don't see nature with that level of depth, right? And then there's also this thing that I've seen recently, and this is more so of a connection of the human body with the earth, right?
Mm.
Um, it was so it's pretty well known that around the earth has like electrical signals going through it, kind of, sort of, right?
Mhm.
And there are ways to like kind of measure that. Uh, and what this study was doing was trying to measure how much our bodies got from the earth when like connecting with it with our bare feet.
Mhm.
But what the study found is they can't even measure it because it happens so fucking fast. Like, our
Hmm.
bodies interact with the earth so like, get these types of signals and currents from the earth so fast they can't even measure it.
Yo, I was watching this documentary called Code X on Gaia,
Mhm.
and it is the most interesting documentary, and it was about like Leonardo da Vinci and
Yeah.
how hidden within his diagram of like the Vitruvian Man, um, which is like the dude that's like this,
Yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
the circle and the
And, like, the
square and
circle and
everything.
shit. Yeah.
The angles of all of it, basically were pointing out things in astrology and about mathematics and the science of creation, like the Fibonacci sequence. And there's another number. It starts with a E. Um, I can't believe I'm spacing the name on it. But basically, hidden within these paintings, even like the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper and all these different paintings, he was explaining like the keys to life and like things within the universe, using the angles of the geometry and everything. And it's so interesting. But
Yeah.
a lot of what they were talking about is like the pulse of the earth, you know, um, and the diameters of the planets and how they're like perfectly aligned for us to even have like solar eclipses and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, and that everything is basically done by design, is what it's kind of coming to, is that everything is a manifestation of consciousness, which is really going back to what these old yogis um, were teaching. And you know, one of the things that like Vivekananda said in this book, he was like, "I never make plans." He was like, "Plans grow and will express themselves. They'll play themselves out." And that's why I was saying, like with our nature, whether it's an ant or it's us or an apple tree, we'll always be drawn to expressing our level of like consciousness and how we identify ourself. So until you like recognize what your nature is and basically untether yourself from making decisions for yourself, and like solely that are like self-serving purposes rather than serving the greater collective, you're unaware of this level of intelligence that lies within you, you know, and is like at the root of your inherent desires to do things. Um, so like for me, I look at it and I guess in a sense, I've, I'm like an entertainer and a teacher, you know, no matter where
Yeah.
you put me, I'm going to like be some kind of entertainer, you know, if you put me in a classroom, I'm probably going to be joking. And it's interesting because in order to be a teacher, I'm like a perpetual student. So I'm always like, I have a curiosity like a little kid. But once I learn something, I'm always trying to tell people what I just learned. Um, and it's not really something that I appreciated or really recognized as, um, or like honored, I guess, with my actions when I was younger. Like I was kind of doing it unknowingly, like trying to influence my friend groups into different shit. And a lot of it came from me finding and connecting my friends. Like I have a friend of mine named Gunner, and I remember Gunner went and he started like boxing and doing like martial arts at a spot called like Northwest Fight Arts or something like that. Back in I don't know, shit, he was like 14, so I was probably like 12 maybe. I don't know, 11 or 12. And he went out to do that stuff. And then he came back and like he would always show me what he learned. And when we got into high school, what that kind of transformed into was I introduced him to my friends and we started like a boxing club. Literally like it wasn't really a boxing club. It was like all of us would get stoned as fuck and go punch each other in the head. And we would just we would try and convince kids to come from school into this fight club. you know, and we didn't get many people that would return. It was like everyone would come once and then be like, "You guys are idiots," and we constantly had to like lure people in, like, "We got mad weed to smoke with you," so that way we would all, you know, fight each other and bet blunts on who's gonna win what. And yeah, but it turned into this incredible thing. And I look at it now like we actually, through that experience, I learned a lot of things that like helped me to be confident, secure, and safe, you
Yeah.
know? And other people learn they don't want to do that type of shit, you know? And a lot of kids that were kind of trying to be hard and shit would come back to school and just totally not be anymore because they're like, "Oh, that's not who I am. That shit is freaky." Yeah, but it comes down to learning your nature.
Yeah. Kinda to go back on the whole, like, the way the earth kind of influences us a little bit.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, I got COVID at, like, the tail end of last summer. So it was
Mhm.
still, like, really sunny out and really nice. Um, and I was fucked up for, like, 5 days straight. And the first day, uh, was not terrible, but the second day I woke up and I was wrecked, absolutely fucking destroyed. And I knew I didn't want to sit in the fucking in my bed or on the couch all day watching TV and shit, which I ended up doing that for quite like a good portion of my day. But the
Mhm.
windows were always open, so I was always trying to get sunlight in. But what I would do every hour or two for about like 15 minutes is I would go outside with my shoes off
Mhm.
and with shorts on and a short sleeve shirt, and I would walk around in the grass for or I would try to walk around for like 15 minutes. And I would always instantly start feeling better. My sinuses would clear up, my
Mhm.
headache would go away, my skin would stop hurting. And I was like, this is fucking amazing. Not only did it open my eyes to how being in nature just kind of like helps us revive our soul, but it's actually physically helping us. And then I also realized that same thing last February when I was doing hikes every week with Miguel. Is he
Mhm.
and I would go out in nature. Dude, it would just be us 2, and we would be talking. We would talk about how we would be if it was like a post-apocalypse thing, and we would be out in the woods because we have to be out there. Or if we were, 3,000 years ago, we would talk about how we would be fucking hunting down animals and shit. And the thing about it is, like, even with my vision, I felt so, so aware of what was around me. I
Mhm.
could hear I heard just a single twig snap, and I would look. I seen any type of movement, a squirrel, like, legit, bro, it felt like my vision got better when I was out there. And so it was just, like, something that kinda popped into my or it, it clicked just how important being in nature and being around plants and just the earth, the natural earth, not the concrete, and just being out in the sun.
Mhm.
But being in the sun and being around plants can, like, really affect your mental health and shit like that. It's pretty amazing.
It really makes you question how you're supposed to live, right?
Facts.
Like how we were designed to live, and then makes you want to kind of steer. Because I've been thinking about this in that, like the concept of like consciousness and downloading the consciousness that you want to become, right? So
Mhm.
this started with that gym talk, being health conscious, but it really transcended out of the gym and kind of led me to looking at things like, all right, well, what kind of like bed sheets do I want? If
Yo,
it's,
facts.
just like weird things like that. And I started looking up stuff. Turns out they have like grounding blankets and like
What up?
pillowcases and things like that. Yeah. that are made to actually ground your body's electrical impulses.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I've started to like look at everything as a science, like the science of living. And that's why I was like looking at an ant and I was like, huh, I wonder what the fucking ant means. Like
Yeah.
and just looking at everything as purpose driven, like, all right, well, what about this? What about that? And like in that way, the technology that we have is a huge blessing. And
Yeah, fact.
something that I thought was interesting, that was way ahead of his time. This Vivekananda dude, he said that it was a great thing that our society in the modern age, which keep in mind, this is like the early 1900s that he was writing this. He was basically saying that people have the ability to fact check and figure out what's bullshit and what isn't, and if someone's not living in accordance with what they're kind of like preaching, I guess,
Yeah.
or
Uh,
promoting.
yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, "It's such a good thing that we have that, so we can really gauge who to follow, who is a true example of like virtuous teachings, on how to live a good life, and that is basically separate from religion, right?" And he was like, "What religion is coming to like understand that we are created by a creator, and that we're a part of that, and to create a good life, not just for ourselves, but for everyone. And it comes down to like educating yourself, and that education really reveals um, a pathway for you to live the truth of your inner wisdom, like being called to spend more time in nature or just simple things, eat different kinds of food, do a different kind of work, whatever it may be. Um, but I'm curious, Josh, you've been awfully quiet. What's
Yeah.
going on? What's going on in your world?
I
Been on
I
his
don't know.
phone.
I guess my wavelengths aren't connecting with the earth lately. I don't know. I
Well,
don't
that's
know.
fine. Where are they connecting?
I, I don't know.
All right, because I want to
So
know what's
you
I
have
going on.
nothing you have nothing on your mind that you might even wanna just
yeah,
discuss.
that's what I'm saying. I have nothing, dude. I don't.
It
That
literally
might.
doesn't even have to be about what we just talked about.
Oh, nothing. Oh, anything at all?
You have nothing on your mind, nothing going on in the world of Josh right now that you wanna talk about.
It's okay if there is nothing and you're not going like thinking of anything and you're just in your own zone. That's a beautiful state of being. So I'm not trying to like impose anything. You don't have to say anything. I'm just curious because I'm like, you've been straight chilling.
Yeah. Um.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
I'm just curious.
I'm still a little, baby hoodlum, aka the pool boy Josh. Um.
Squirrely
Just,
Q. I can dig it.
you know, uh, just putting salt bags in the back of white vans.
That
Sometimes they
sounds really. Are
sometimes they
you
give
doing
me
any
a
serial
lollipop.
killers?
Sometimes they give me a lollipop or two after I give them the salt. So you know,
Right on. That sounds
you
kind
know,
of delightful, like a good exchange.
yeah. I mean, they have these like closed off cages that you kind of hear knocking from. I don't know what's in them, but I just take the lollipop and go. So
Oh
Alright, it
man.
was a great episode, guys. I'll talk to you later. Uh,
dude,
fuck.
That
no,
got
that's
dark.
it, dude. I'm just pool boy Josh. Nothing going over here. I mean, I could go on like
I'm just
how much.
curious what's going on in your
Hey,
world, man.
I mean,
What you been up to?
how much time y'all got? Because like, I could spend the next like
It's kind of a dumb question when we've had 2-hour podcasts. We're only 30 minutes in.
Well, I mean, if
So
y'all
you
got
got
the
at least an hour and a half.
no, if y'all got like 12 hours in you, I could blab on about how I got a girlfriend.
Yeah, tell the world about it. Talk your shit, dude. I'm
Tell
interested.
the world about it. Only under one condition.
All right, I don't even want to hear now.
Dude. No, she's cool. You know, the best. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I'm not. I'm not gonna.
I know your mind's on something,
Huh?
but I don't know what it is, and it's okay because
No.
whenever you're ready to share, you can come
No.
share with the class.
Life's been pretty. I don't know. I'm about to go to Utah.
That's dope,
Yeah. I'm just. I mean, I'm only going to see my grandparents and family. So.
dude. That's super dope.
Yeah, I haven't
They're
seen
full
them
of
in forever.
they're full of stories and stuff that you probably never heard.
Dude,
You
they've.
know,
I mean,
one of the
yeah.
things I'm really happy I did, although when I went back to New York and I was speaking with my grandfather, I
Yeah.
had recorded our family history a little bit, like in his words. That way, my grandkids could like hear their great grandfather like explain meeting their grandma and everything like that. And he had fallen out of bed and had like a brain uh, bleed going on, so his it accelerated the like dementia that he was going through. So the way that he was a little more short with me, and I wish I could have gotten that um, state of mind to be like, hey, I should go and capture this. Like, I never would have thought that my dad would die because that would really have been awesome to have. Like, I have like one voicemail with my dad's voice, so like I really don't have like the ability to hear his voice anymore. But that would, uh, or at least in that way, I can hear it if I think about it. But um, for my kids and shit, like that's really cool. So if when you go out there, I encourage you, bro. Like, just ask them random shit. Like there's so much
Dude.
gold that gets lost in time because we don't talk or respect our each other's journeys and especially our elders. Like I think when we're young, especially because there's such a difference between like their time period of growing up and us with having technology. Ooh, excuse
Yeah.
me, technology. That I think that we think we're so different, but the truth is all like
Oh, dude.
mentally the same.
My grandpa used to not believe in the I think the stock market.
Well, he probably saw
I don't
like
know.
the crash of it and everything, right? Is
Huh?
he old like my grandpa was old?
I think so. I don't really know how old he is. He is pretty old.
Depressed?
I mean, he's definitely in his 70s, but
Bro, go
80s
ask your
maybe.
grandpa how he gamed up your grandma. Like, bro, there's so many like
What?
not not only is it cute to see like them come alive, and be like, "Oh, you don't know what I was doing." I put a
Yeah.
penny in her mouth and told her, to meet me around the back and we'll get a milkshake, a good old malt. Like you never know what it
I
is,
don't.
but it really brings them to life, bro. And give them hugs.
Yeah.
Like that's something like the older we get, we don't get the same level of like physical affection. You know, like you gotta fuck with him sometimes. Pinch his nipples and shit, make him fucking freak out a little bit. It'll get him. He'll be like, "Hey," and like want to attack you a little bit, but like, dude, you'll never have seen him as lively.
Yeah. That's
You
true.
got you guys don't do that with your grandparents. You don't attack them.
I don't get to see him very often.
Oh no,
I
mine.
definitely get you, man.
I haven't seen him in a long time, but um, I've heard stories. of when they were like my age, and I've asked my grandpa um like what kind of things would he be doing like if he grew up in this kind of day and age, um and what kind of advice he could give me, um which I'll share. I'll share. Some of the knowledge he gave me was to always continue looking for knowledge and always have patience. Those were the two
Did he
things.
have a story with him, or was it just those?
Uh, he did. It kind of, yeah. I'll tell the story too. So, he bought a bunch of property for pretty cheap. Uh, and then is around when Obama became president. Um, the price in his property just like I think he probably bought like 500,000 in worth of property, and it just or no, not even maybe like 200,000, like just a little bit, and it just the price of it went down. I mean, it probably went down to 100,000. Um,
Yeah, you're talking about the market crash of
yeah.
2008. Yeah, continue.
Um, yeah. And then 2016, I ain't gonna say names, but yeah, 2016, boom, it shot up. I'm not gonna say numbers, but it was worth a good bit, pretty good bit.
All right, so
But
that
yeah,
was
that
the
was that
person's
was a
story.
story. That was a story.
Okay.
Um, he sent me a handwritten letter about it of the story. So
That's actually super meaningful, bro.
yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
now I will forever have a handwritten story about how my grandpa bought property and he kept it. He was
Mhm.
patient. And while he was being patient, he expanded his knowledge. He ended up he got really he was in a bricking for his whole life. So not only while he was investing, he was still growing his knowledge and work in his life. So
You
he's a smart
you know
guy.
who was a yeah, the so you guys know who Jerry Rice is, right? The famous receiver in the NFL?
Nope.
Oh
Huh?
man.
Never watched
Okay.
football, bro.
Hockey? What?
Bro,
I'm just
if you look up some Jerry Rice highlights, you will be like, "What? This is Joe Montana era, bro."
Joe
And
Montana? Hannah
oh
Montana?
my god,
I'm just-
you guys. All right, so his father would uh, throw bricks up to him while he was on the roof of a house, and he would have to catch the bricks one at a time. And by him working with his dad, he became like the greatest receiver, arguably of like all time, one of them. You know, like super iconic, legendary wide receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
huh.
his
That's
ability to snatch a football came from being able to snatch a brick. And that's just a
wow.
small piece of history. I don't know if there's really
That's
anywhere for
cool.
me to go with that. That's like super famous.
No.
But that's what I think of when I hear bricks now.
Huh.
Yeah,
I had a
transferable
basketball
skill,
coach
right?
that was a
Yeah.
stonemason. It was the worst
Mhm.
fucking
Wow.
basketball coach I've ever had.
You know the other thing I think about? So ancient civilizations were so fucking smart. Back in, I believe it's Rome, I think, the way that they would lay bricks, rather than doing them horizontally, they would lay them short end first, right? And at an angle. So that way all the like grout and stuff that they put between them to hold them together would go like this. And so whenever a seismic wave would come through, like an earthquake, the way the energy would go up through it wouldn't crack the foundation of the city.
You know, there's actually some other crazy shit that I learned about Rome
Mm-hmm.
or Greece, one of the two.
Hey,
Um,
don't get us fucked up. Okay? Well, they're two different places. Continue.
I said one of the two. I'm not getting them fucked up. I just don't know which place it was. The
I
fuck
know.
out of here with your fucking sassy ass. Anyways, um, anyways, the ingenious of the way that they made their concrete to build their structures was actually in a sense self-repairing.
No.
What? My back?
Oh, he's
Yeah, I can
disconnecting.
hear you now.
Kemper.
Okay,
Kemper.
okay, I'm here.
Oh, you're
Okay.
both. Oh, no.
Kemper was tweaking. Okay.
No, you
Anyways,
both are now.
back to the story. The
Yeah, back to the story.
essentially their concrete was self-repairing. And
What?
so yeah, and I wish I remembered all of the details, but they would get this they would get their concrete from essentially what was like leftover stuff from limestone, I believe. And they would mix it in with a couple different ingredients, but also salt water, which was like kind of preserving it. Um,
Mhm.
and when it would rain, the concrete would like kind of dissolve a little bit and fill in the cracks. It was fucking like I wish I would have saved
Yeah.
this video or read it or listened to it better, but it was
Well,
absolutely fucking insane and ingenious. And we had just like modern day like concreteologist, whoever the fuck studies concrete and how you make it, just figured out how to make that version of concrete to
so you're right.
experience
It
that.
was ancient Roman concrete, and
There you
that
go.
the mineral deposits called lime casts
There you
were
go.
found to give concrete self healing properties, and basically says they theorized that as water entered the cracks in the concrete, it could dissolve the chunks of calcium. Then the
Boom.
dissolved chemicals could recrystallize or react with other materials, filling the cracks and strengthening the structure.
Bada bing.
So
Which is fucking insane.
it's like a one-time reheal, whatever.
Essentially.
Okay.
But that's why you see a lot of ancient Roman
Hmm.
structures still standing.
Yeah.
And then if you look at the concrete that we have now, it fucking cracks and breaks down in 50 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if now that we know and essentially have the information and knowledge on how to put that shit together, potentially our structures will start lasting a little bit longer and it'll be cheaper to make shit.
Hmm.
Fingers
Bro,
crossed.
the way that they worked with materials back in the day is just incredible. Like
It's
I was
efficient.
telling you in the supermarket
Yeah.
that they believe that the Great Pyramid was basically like a battery that was superconducting, right? So they
Yeah.
have the pyramid, and when you look at like the distribution of where the tunnels are and things like that, and how they had underneath the Great Pyramid this, well, all the pyramids, there was a whole bunch of water, and in the water they like submerged what they used to think was like a sarcophagus, but it was really just this big, basically like battery, and
Mhm.
they thought one was positive and one was negative, and so that way they would be able to like just generate natural electricity similar to like Nikola Tesla and what he was talking about. And
Well,
that's
he
like
actually
way.
didn't talk about it, bro. That's the crazy part is he actually proved his idea of being able to send wireless electricity through the air, which is pretty kind of bonkers. And then the
Dude.
crazy part about his shit is once he figured it out and proved it, he tried to get funding, but the people who
Hmm.
were funding him stopped funding him because they were people that were making money off of the wired electricity and they didn't want to give away free electricity. They're like,
Oh
"Fuck
no,
that. Hell no." And then they destroyed him.
straight dickheads.
I know, right? Assholes. It's like when is enough money enough money? And when do you gotta stop fucking people over for it?
At a certain point we'll evolve out of the necessity for money as well as government, as well as even like religion in the way that we have it set up today, like
I
dogmatic
kind of
religion.
disagree with that because I think the majority of people where they're like the majority of people I feel like just want to live their life and be told what they can and can't do to a certain extent.
Hmm.
Because government's been a thing since the beginning of time. Like even in fucking like chimpanzee troops and ape troops, there is a leader and they tell you what to do and what you can't do. And that's a thing that's been like maybe our version of government now will change and evolve and become something a little bit more positive and a little bit more efficient and effective towards like benefiting mankind, but I think that there will always be some version of humanity that's going to, or some group of humanity that's going to be telling everyone else what they can and can't do.
Well, they may attempt to, but I think at a certain point, it's like rather than the predominant, if everything's kind of like a pendulum, right? Rather than there being a predominant group of people that are like um, negative or I don't want to say negative, but just not self realized. When you realize who you are, because literally, like going back to what this dude said, Vivekananda, he was saying there's as many religions as there are people because it's about your connection through yourself to God, you know? And once you realize that, it's like a self empowerment thing. And I think when people really get to that point where everybody is truly self empowered, you know, and then you can't go away from society as a whole, even on like, and especially down on that individualistic level, that each person is going to be seeking to better themselves in a way, and the standard level of consciousness based on what we teach each other and the examples that we truly have and who we look to um, for the truest state of enlightenment, which will naturally come with itself and carry with itself abundance, right? Richness in not just personality, but financially, because all that materialized things and stuff around you came from here and here,
Yeah.
and as society begins to evolve and live that way, I think we just might, I think we are inevitably going to get to the point where the pendulum swings this way, and the outliers are the people that are straggling behind and kind of learning, and all the people over here are so abundant that they're going to want to help encourage those people, and those people can't help but fucking get it. They might get it a little bit slower, but they're going to get it way faster than we are today, because there's just going to be so many more good examples around them. I think that's what the advent of like technology is going to bring in a short amount of time.
Yeah, definitely with the invention of technology, more information is definitely available. The
Hmm.
crazy thing about techno have you heard of Chat GPT?
Hmm.
It's a fucking really popular thing right now, and it's pretty fucking wild. And there's this guy that I seen on Twitter.
Hmm.
He's actually doing something pretty fucking smart with it. It's pretty
Hmm.
fucking cool. Um, what he's doing is he's using Chat GPT as um his business advisor. And what he did was he told ChatGPT, "You are now an entrepreneur." In essence, that's not the exact words, but you're now an entrepreneur, and you have $100 to start a business and make it the most profitable you can. And he's not only like posting the responses each day, but he's also following what ChatGPT is telling him to do, and he's spending the money and he's doing exactly what it's telling him to do, and he's documenting that process, that step by step thing that this AI is telling him to do. And it's fucking phenomenal. And it's like, dude, this is next level type of shit where you could just like ask a question and within minutes you have a very in-depth breakdown of that answer in multiple, and you have multiple different answers to it. It does it in like stages. So
Hmm.
it'll answer it, but then it'll also like if you ask it, what's the best way to grow my social media? It'll say, well, there's a lot of different ways to grow your social media. You want to do it in these four ways, and then it'll break down all four ways. And it's pretty fucking amazing. It's quite mind blowing. I went on there and I was like, this is crazy.
Did you,
Dude,
did
I
you
want to
see
go
the South
on there.
Park episode about it?
No, I need to. I want to start watching South Park again. I haven't watched it in a long
Dude,
time.
yeah.
Dude, basically they use Chat GBT to talk to chicks because talking to chicks is like so time consuming. And so Stan comes up to one of his friends, I can't remember who it was, and he's like, dude, my girlfriend said she just wishes that I would talk to her the way that you talk to your girlfriend. What's your secret? And he's like, dude, I just typed this shit into Chat GBT. And then like it's a great episode. You gotta watch it because I don't want to
Dude,
spoil it because it's really
the
genius.
the sad part is that episode is kind of realistic because Snapchat has a feature called Snapchat Plus, and you can pay whatever, 9.99 a month, and get all these cool features. But one of them is either Chat GPT, or it's
Snap
sourced
GBT.
or it's sourced from there. But if you pay for the
It's an
subscription,
AI.
yeah, but if you pay for the subscription, it'll tell you, it like reads your messages and tells you what to say next in the conversation.
Hmm. Well, I don't know. I
My
don't.
Scary.
goodness.
I don't think that it's ever
Yeah.
gonna outdo human intuition, but I think human intuition can be led to using it in a way that will be prosperous and absolutely functional and genius.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's really interesting. But I think it's so interesting that our world is still uh, so enamored with the like physical senses when our internal spiritual senses are really like the the realm of cause and the external world is the realm of effect. And we got it all backwards, you know? And you can look at whatever you want in your room. That came out of someone's fucking mind first. That was in someone's mind before it ever became a thing. And yet we look at these things to try and get deeper into this, you know?
I mean, my bed was in my mind before it became my bed because I literally built my bed.
Mhm,
This poster, oh, that poster right here was in my mind before it actually became a poster. So
mhm.
it's like the way that my dresser looks because I refurbished my dresser.
Yeah,
So it's like it's just crazy. Like it legit is there, and you just create it based off
yeah,
of just the things that you've already experienced and seen, and you take what you like and what you don't like, and you put it into a thing, and it becomes its own unique version of what you already know.
yeah. It's self-realization. It's self-realizing, you know? Based on everything that you've learned to this point, based on your state of awareness, right? Of what is possible, right? Out of
Yeah.
that comes the next evolution of it in the form of a thought, you know? And I think that world that you live in, that each of us have inside of ourselves, is the most fulfilling place that we can be. And this stuff that we get to experience externally is just like a cherry on top because not only do we get to live it in full and experience the pros and cons of things, and collect more data in a way that's very tangible, it gives us more depth inside of ourselves, another level that we can keep going. And really, that's why I'm so into like the science of consciousness and really the relationship of your mind and your spirit, you know?
Mhm.
because it's drawn and connected to the great spirit, the greater consciousness of all. Because like, where the fuck do your ideas really come from? Like, where do they really come from? You're not thinking of anything, and then bam, you get hit with this idea. Who gave you that?
Why does it have to be anybody or anything that gives you that? Why can't it my question is like, why can't it be like your life experiences or the things that you've seen on the internet, especially nowadays, like the things that you experience on the internet or read or see, um, or the literally just like a symbol on a car that you see, it sparks like, okay, what if I did that with this thing? Like, why does it have to I'm not so I kinda like the idea of, like, the Akashic records type shit,
Mhm.
right? So, like, I like that idea, but what I'm this is more of like, uh, uh, a brain exercise. It's like, why does it have to be something so extraordinary or extravagant or amazing? Why can't it be like maybe our brains are more just awesome than we are giving ourself credit for? Why does there have to be something that's more cool than we are that makes us cool? Like, why aren't we just cool on our own?
Well, I think that's what it is. You realize that you and that thing are the same, but it still exists outside of yourself. And like, meditation is really what presents this to you, because when you quiet your mind, when you truly have no thought, none whatsoever, I'm not thinking, right? I'm just sitting in absolute darkness of nothingness, no thought, and then a thought comes to you. Where does that thought come from? You see what I'm saying?
Well, you're not just not thinking.
There is a layer of depth to meditation where you quiet the mind. You're not thinking about anything.
I feel like people overcomplicate it and say that you're not thinking because if you weren't thinking, you'd stop breathing.
Well, that's like the subconscious. You don't have to think to do that. That's just powered, and it really comes back to revealing things of the spirit, doing things for you. Like, what you're going to do um is really allow and work with that energy source, that conscious energy source that's providing you these thoughts, you
So
know?
what if like okay, it's not a source of of anything, right? But what if you giving yourself that time to be present and quiet your mind from all the other bullshit thoughts you're thinking, that's why you have the ability and the time to be able to have that thought pop into your head. Because if you're running at 100 miles an hour all day long, right? And you're thinking about, okay, I got to make this left turn. Okay, got to make it to my appointment on time. Okay, what am I gonna wear? Okay, I need food. Where am I gonna eat? How much money can I spend on my lunch now? You have all these thoughts going in your head. You don't have the time for new ideas. But then when you sit down, you get to meditate. Now all of a sudden, your brain has that freedom and then it can boom. You're it's like the shower thoughts. All you have to do in the fucking shower is think about what the fuck you're doing in the shower. And if you take the time to close your eyes and then plug your ears and you just hear the fucking water hitting your skull, that's like another form of meditation where you're not thinking about anything and you're just listening to the white noise and all of a sudden boom, a fucking shower thought, literally a fucking shower thought. That's what everyone calls it. Comes to you in a place where you're not thinking about anything else that's important. So what if it's just the fact that you're giving yourself the time and you have the chance to let your brain do what the brain is designed to do and just think about cooler shit than the rest of the mundane life that a lot of people live.
But it begs the question of, is is it the brain, or is consciousness outside of the physical? Like
It's my fucking brain.
and
Why
that's
does it
the
gotta be
thing, like,
anywhere else?
because when you learn how to, like, control it, like, when you truly learn how to, like, control yourself and stop thought. You know, when you get to a point where it's like, I am the master of this brain, right? I'm the master of it. I told it nothing. We're not thinking. We're just sitting, right? And it's almost like I was reading a book, Your Sacred Self by Wayne Dyer, and he has an exercise in it where he says, when you're trying to clear your mind, whatever dialogue is running through your head, try and find the space between the last word you just said. Like, just go in between the words and just find that space and rest in the pause. And as you rest in the pause, it's like, okay, and I can't explain it in a way that um, is like deeper than this right now, but consciousness exists outside of the brain, without a brain. Like, there is a spirit that is conscious, you know? And also, a thing about that I just want to add, um, and this is something that I learned from listening to Sad Guru talk, and he was talking about the shower, and I hadn't really thought about it. But our bodies are electric, we run on electrical impulses, and water is a superconductor, you know? It's a great conductor of energy
Mhm.
and electricity. And so, like, when you're in water, we're also born in water. Most of our body is predominantly made up of water. It's like being at home, you know? And you can have some of your greatest thoughts not only because you're in a place of relaxation where you get more clarity, right? But that leads you to an openness where you're not necessarily thinking. And then when you're not thinking, this thought hits you. How? Who dished you that thought? And I'm not saying that it isn't you.
Yeah, but you're saying who? If you are saying who, then it's not me.
Well, there's
You see what I'm
levels
saying?
to
And so
awareness
like
itself, right?
I don't necessarily think just because you're free of thought, that doesn't mean a thought just can't pop into your head. That's like if you say all of a sudden you have zero thoughts in your head and then all you have to go pee, and then who gave you the thought that you need to go pee? Who gave you that? You?
No,
No, it definitely wasn't you. It was some fucking
no.
spiritual thing. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, no, I had to put the thought into my head where I had to
Uh-uh.
pee. And
No.
now, and
My
so
wiener
all
did.
of a sudden, for whatever reason, just any random thought now is the responsibility of something that's outside of me for no reason. It's
It's
like
like you
if I wanted to pick my nose, where did that thought come from?
I'm saying you just know that you need to go pee.
Yeah,
Who
but what
knows?
if I was like, "Oh, I wanna wear my glasses upside down today." Right? Did that
Mhm.
thought come from some metaphysical thing that I can't think about because it's not coming from me?
E-
'Cause
Everything is
I don't
spiritual.
like that idea because, 1, it takes the responsibility of thought away from the person who's thinking the thoughts, and 2, it takes the fucking awesomeness out of the fact that my brain is cool as fuck, and you're basically just saying, like, everything that I've ever come up with is fucking I don't get that credit,
No, like
essentially.
you
You're
you're
saying the
you're the
the
unique
the thing
part.
bigger than everyone else that has all this information stored is
It's
is
that,
what you acclaim it, acclaim
and
all the
this is
coolness
something
to.
I can't force it on you, so this is kind of where I'll leave it. But it's that everything is connected. It's oneness, you know, and you are a unique extension of divine consciousness. That's all I can say, and it's you can like refute it till you come home, till the cows come home.
I
But it
just
really
like questioning shit, and I think you should question what you believe more too.
I do question things, but there's a level of
I
like
never hear you
when you
question it
know it,
though.
you know it.
You know it because you want to know it and you want it to be true. Right? That's
Yeah.
Uh,
like, okay, so for
You gotta
example, this is
question stuff.
we're gonna I'm gonna break down the whole like okay. First of all, I want to say I agree with the whole manifestation shit. I think if you truly believe something, it can happen because you're gonna eventually, if you believe something's gonna happen and you really want it to happen, you're gonna move in a way that's gonna make you make it happen, right?
Mhm.
But if you are manifesting, now I lost my thought because I was trying to explain the fact that I agree with it. Never mind. So
Where did the go?
I
Dude,
don't know where the thought went.
I was so ready.
That thing, the fucking greater consciousness took it out of my head, bro. It's not my fault. I didn't forget it.
Dude, I've been waiting for a Zack tangent, dude, for so long. Man, I was so ready for that one. That was gonna be a good one too.
That was gonna be
Dude,
a
I
good
was on
one.
the
It
edge of
was
my
good,
seat,
dude.
dude.
I remember it
Dang,
being good. I remember it being good. I just don't remember what it was.
We're winding up, boy.
dude, I was
Fuck.
ready. Man, you had me. You had me,
The truth is undisputed.
dude.
Oh, I got it. Okay. So
Let's
in
go.
manifestation, you have to believe that you're going to get something, right?
Mhm.
You already know it, right?
Mhm.
But you only want that because you only know that because you want it to happen, right? If you didn't want that to happen, you would think of something else that you wanted and you would think like you only know it because you really, really want it to happen, right? But what if it doesn't happen, right? Oh, then your entire belief system's destroyed, right? Or no, then you flip it around and you say the idea of like, well, it's giving you something better, right? So what if Happy Hoodlums doesn't work out? Well, that's because we're being prepared for something better. Well, I don't believe that
Well,
because
hold on.
I knew in my mind that I wanted it to happen. Or let's even go like to something that you and I can't even control, right? Something that
Mhm.
literally will come down to an unpredictable level of genetic sequencing, right? My vision. We've talked about it a few times, you and I, between each other privately, but my eyes are literally deteriorating, right?
Mhm.
No doctor has the ability to predict at what rate my eyes are deteriorating, and everybody with this condition has a very different level of deterioration over their lifetime. My grandpa
Mhm.
went blind in his early 20s. His brother went blind after he served in the Air Force at like 40, right?
Mhm.
So there's different levels to it. I, in my heart, right, could say that I know I'm not going to go blind. But if
Mhm.
one day when I wake up at 30 and I can't see anymore, right? That entire belief system is now shattered. So I love the idea of thinking I know I'm going to have this because it's comforting to know that if you have the confidence in yourself to have something and to know that you're going to get it in the future, that's going to make you work harder for it. But I think resting every single ounce of your soul and spirit on the fact that you know something's going to happen can be extremely heart shattering when something completely flips and fucks your whole shit up.
But those experiences are not bad experiences,
I'm
although
not
they,
saying that is.
you know,
I'm just
like
saying that it
those are
flips the whole belief system on its fucking head. And it's like, okay, I knew this for like 25 years. I'm not going to go blind. But all of a sudden now, like, holy shit, I can't see. I thought me believing in the fact that I'll see for the rest of my life was going to be enough for me to fucking see. I can't,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like there are going to be situations where unfortunately this I know it's going to happen belief system is going to fucking not necessarily work. And I know that belief systems are put in place to help us feel comfortable with the situations we're being dealt with. That's part of the reason why people uh go to religion and feel like they need to have a level of reasoning behind all the crazy and good and beautiful but ugly and evil things that are also going on in the world. Because a lot of people when they, for example, right, my uncle when I was probably like 4. he got hit by a car.
Mhm.
Um, and he had a motorcycle, and he dropped his lunchbox as he was getting onto the motorcycle, and he lived on a really busy, like, 4-lane street. Um,
Mhm.
and it rolled out into the street, and he looked very religious man, like, no TV in the house, church on Wednesdays and Sundays, twice on Sundays, right? Look both ways, no cars. He goes, grabs the lunchbox, gets hit by a car. Boom.
Mhm.
He's now blind in one eye, lost a leg, and has short-term memory loss. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, him surviving alone was the miracle. Um, fuck, I wish remembered where I was going with this.
Well,
Um,
all things are
anyways, yeah.
purposeful. I can say that much. You
That
know,
okay, that's what I was meaning. That's where I was going. Is
all things are purposeful.
peop people have to take that type of situation, right, and be like, "Well, God saved his life." Yeah, but God fucking hit him with the car based off of these 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 understandings, right? Based off of this belief system. So it's like we have to people look into these belief systems and these religions to not just comfort themselves, but to explain all the bad things that happen and and feel more comfortable with reality. In my mind, I'm like, if you're gonna give God all the good shit, you gotta give him all the fucking bad shit too.
Yeah,
So it's
100%.
like,
All
and
things
so
are
I
are
can't
God.
fucking love somebody who treats all people badly. It's like, why is he do so why does God do bad shit but then expects us to love him unconditionally? Why does God do all the good shit, but only repay you if you love him unconditionally? But if you fucking he'll also do bad shit to you if you love him unconditionally. That's not love in my book. For me, when you look at like, okay, when in an art in a conversation, when I know I'm right, I'll usually let somebody just continue to just talk and talk and talk and talk, right? And when I think about the things that I've read in the Bible that are quotes from God, like, "You will not serve any other god, or you will not praise any other god before me, for I am a jealous God," right? To
Mhm.
me, that sounds like someone who's trying to manipulate you. And what that also sounds like is evil, because the person who loves you the most or knows that they're right is going to be like, look, bro, you're going to learn this shit regardless. You're going to know this shit and you're going to figure it out. But if you're not willing to like really listen and look, I'm not going to fucking help you. What sounds evil to me is like, I'm going to punish you if you don't fucking love me, because that sounds manipulative. That's a narcissist. That
Well,
doesn't sound right to me. You know what I'm
that
saying? And so, like, for
that
me,
quote
it fucks me up because I'm like, look, bro, I just don't know if I can give all of the credit to some dude who wants to fucking punish you for eternity for
but what if
doing
you're
a
that
couple
dude?
bad things.
Hold on, but what if you're that dude?
I'm not that dude because I would never, Kemper, I would never look at you and say, you deserve a eternity, the rest of time in a burning fiery pit for doing things that are in my mind bad,
'Cause you love me like you love you, right?
because I love you like I love me. But
Yeah.
honestly, I love the people that I love more than I love myself. But God, from what the Bible reads, wants everyone to love him the same way he loves himself.
Hold on, but how it reads is based
and
on
he
your level
demands
of
it,
understanding.
but he demands that love without any question, without he says it. He literally says it. You can't love anyone else before me, pretty
Yeah,
much.
because if
That's
you don't,
basically what he's
because if
saying.
you and God are one, if you and God are the same thing, right?
How am I the same thing as someone that's being quoted?
Because God made you the God of your world. God created you equal to
Okay,
Himself.
now you're just dissolving the idea of the Bible. So I don't ever want to hear
No,
that referenced again. Because
it's
the idea of the
because
Bible is that it's God's word. I didn't write the fucking Bible, bro. Like
well,
that shit's not me.
it's
Like
your reason and understanding it,
I would
and
never
that's
say Kemper, I would never say, all right, if I'm your best friend, you can't love another best friend before me.
well, no, it's that
That's fucked,
if you truly
right?
love me the way that you love you, right? And you know that hey, we're we're equal, right? Then that is an absolutely you wouldn't do that. It would be wrong. It would be fundamentally breaking the truth that we're
But God
equal
is saying that you have to love him without loving any other god.
because
You can't.
it's not a riddle really. It's that it's a
But
level
the Bible is
like
the the best metaphor for whatever the fuck. That's
it
your
is.
words.
It
It's
is,
a
but it's
riddle.
not
It is a riddle.
it's not a riddle. It's like a comparison,
Yeah.
It's trying to paint a picture out of something, you know? And underneath
Well, why
that
not just tell it?
there's a truth because you can only realize it to the level of awareness that you have of yourself. If you're unwilling to accept yourself on the same level that you accept somebody else, right? If you can't love yourself equally to the amount that you love somebody else, it isn't pure. There's a level of condition to it. And there is no exclusivity. Everything is inclusive. We live in a completely inclusive universe. People may close themselves off in their mind to their imaginative and creative abilities, right? And when they do that, they live in this physical world competing for finite resources. And their world becomes one in which they interact with it and believe and is truly stuck in a role of dealing with finite things. But when you dissolve that attachment, which is why God is talking about unconditioned and that the spirit is actually unconditional, you then realize your creative abilities and that everything is one. And that's what the great masters came to teach us, bro. They're teaching us how to manifest and that we are gods, each and every one of us.
But you can't believe that.
Everything is
No,
born
You
of the
can't.
we
same
You
matter.
can't believe that I'm a god. That I'm
we're
God
not
because
gods.
you can't believe that I'm God because you can't believe in any other god before God.
No, you
And
can't believe
you're
it.
God.
No, you can't believe it. I can believe it.
But if you're basing
Mm,
your
dude.
beliefs off the Bible, you got to take the whole Bible.
Yeah, that's what it's teaching,
But that's
bro.
the first statement of the Bible is
Is that
you
at the
can't
highest
believe in a
level
God before me.
is that at the highest level, right? Is that you and God are one. You and God
We
are
need to
one.
rename the podcast because if we're gonna keep talking
Dude,
religious talk, this is just gonna get crazy. But
it
It's
might
just a
s-
fundamental
it
truth.
might say that you and God are one, but it's saying that in a spiritual sense, as in like he's in your presence with you, or like
is that all things were created from the same. If you look at the periodic table of creation, all things boil down to one element, which is consciousness. Pure, loving, light consciousness that is unconditional. And out of unconditioned, you can create things. And it comes from the inside out.
I don't know, man. I just like to question shit, and that's why I can't believe in it. And that's
That's
why I can't
Yeah.
cool,
believe
man.
in like God
Like
and
that.
shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll question everything. I'm like, but wait a second. And like,
Yeah.
I might even really believe in the thing that I'm questioning, but I think that that's what makes like if you can question your beliefs and you have the ability to like question it as hard as someone else who doesn't believe in your beliefs can question it, then you have
Mhm.
the ability to not only defend your beliefs, but you also have the ability to be like, well, maybe I really don't believe this. Let me think about that.
Well, we're
You
put
know?
here to seek truth. And so, yeah, you're supposed to question everything.
Yeah. I don't think that people question enough. And that's where like my uh my hardcore questioning of religion comes from. And it's like it's so uh, I have to fight my own brain when people start talking about religion because I can easily check out. The second I hear the word God, I can or the Bible, I can easily be like
I'm sure a lot of people do. And
because a lot of people don't question it the way that they should. I feel like people should start questioning it in a sense of like, yo, like there's like very few religious documents in Christianity that haven't been edited and added to and touched up on,
mhm.
right? How can that become like if you have literally like people adding new books to it or taking books out, how can it really be the word of God? That's the word of man translated based on their beliefs, right?
And
The only document that I know of that's religious that has not been edited is the Quran. For 4,000 years, that shit's maintained the same shit the whole time. Hasn't been added or taken away or fucking edited. There's not 14 different versions. There's not, there's one fucking book and it's the same book for 4,000 years. So it's like
basically,
to me, the Christianity in essence is an edited version of what should have originally been believed, and you have no idea what originally was Christianity because it's been edited for the last however many fucking years it's been around.
what I would say to that is the questioning of it is good, and in questioning it, it will lead you to yourself. And when you realize yourself, you'll find God inherently.
I'm just not
You
worried
will
about finding
discover
God.
self empowerment and creation, and
I'm
where creation.
self-empowered by myself.
Yeah.
That's why it's called self-empowered.
Like
Like,
I'm
Yeah.
glad other people have God. I'm glad that they have something that gives them comfort and brings them purpose. Uh, but to me, I can give myself that.
you have consciousness,
Yeah, and I
you
don't
have
need
energy.
I don't need God and I don't need to label it
Don't need
either.
religion or things of that nature.
I don't
But
need God.
look, we don't have to go round and round with it. But I'm saying it's a good thing. It's a good thing, and in questioning it, that's what you should do
Facts.
because it'll lead you to yourself. But that there's levels of self discovery. We're
I think
learning
even
who we are,
yeah. I think
and then
even
there's the
questioning
point.
more than just your belief. Like if you question like why do I enjoy working out? Right? And it's like, I did this recently as I was questioning why I liked doing the type of exercise I was doing, and I realized that I didn't fucking like it. So I switched it because I was getting so bored to the point that I was not wanting to go work out. So I was like, why the fuck don't I like it? It's because it wasn't fucking challenging enough. So I have to now I am doing workouts that are an hour long, but I'm dying and drenched in sweat by the end because I couldn't stand doing a set of bench press and then waiting 5 minutes and then doing another set and then waiting another 5 minutes. And by the time I was done, it was 45 minutes into my workout and I was only done with one movement and I didn't feel tired. I wasn't sweating. I didn't feel exerted. And so I was like, okay, now I need to make it more difficult. And so even questioning like things like that, or am I playing too many video games? Or could I be doing better in this area? What if I made my bed every morning? What if I drank water before coffee? Right? All these things, I think questioning everything will allow you to find the things that truly make you happy, regardless of what the fuck it is. And like I said, I'm so happy that people find religion and find peace through it. For me, my peace is just being able to master myself without any concern of what the fuck's gonna happen when I'm dead. When
Yeah.
I die, I'm gonna go exactly where I'm meant to go, and if for however reason, if there's a God on the other end that's determining where the fuck I'm placed, and he asks me, "Why the fuck did you not believe in me?" Be like, "Look, dude, I fucked up. Do what you want to do," because I'm gonna have to own that at the end of the day. And if that's what happens, that's what happens. But I'm gonna live the way that makes me comfortable with the reality that I'm dealt. And I hope that everyone else can live that exact same way. And I hope that
Exactly.
everyone else finds happiness through themselves and doesn't need external things to make them happy.
It's a
That's
refinement.
that's one of the things why I'm not a like ag- again, love that people find religion. I don't want people to have to rely on religion to be happy because happiness should be a self actualizing thing, like you're saying, Kemper. It should be you. You should be
Religion,
the driving force to you being
yeah.
happy. It
Religion
shouldn't
isn't
have,
about dogma.
yeah. And
Like,
that's what I'm saying is like,
yeah,
I hope people don't think that I'm like anti religion. As long as you can find happiness, find it, but question it. Make sure that it's for you. Make sure that what you're believing and what you're so hard stuck on and what you're fighting for is truly something that you would be willing to go to the grave with, because at the end of the day, your happiness is all that matters.
but bro,
And
seeking truth
yeah.
is
There you
what
go.
true religion is.
Nope. Leave it there. That's facts. Zach just spoke facts. He spoke facts. We don't gotta ruin it. Zach spoke facts. We know it. Boom, bam, bop. Marilyn Monroe. What's up? Um, yeah.
She's seen a lot of shit, bro.
Oh.
Oh shit. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, I just want people to be happy.
I secretly hit a camera in her eyeball last time I was at your house.
Yeah, okay,
What?
bud.
What?
What?
He's talking about hiding a camera in Marilyn Monroe because I said that she's seen a lot of shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying it's seeking truth, bro. That's really what it is. And that's what you're talking about and questioning.
Thanks.
Next
That
week, we'll see
that that oh
if we can
okay.
go through a whole podcast and not talk about this.
Yeah,
We'll
hopefully
see.
maybe one day
We'll see.
we can not be God Talk or the Godcast and we can be the Happy Hoodlums podcast.
Yo, maybe we can talk about something. Maybe we can talk about something normal.
Josh, shut the fuck up. You didn't say for
Yeah,
2
fuck
hours,
you,
man.
Josh.
Like,
You
you don't
sat there texting on your phone. Don't think I didn't fucking see you on your phone.
You got to bring something to next
Bro,
week's podcast, bro. Word. I'll stop talking if you start talking. There you go.
what do you mean texting my phone? I wasn't even texting my phone.
I didn't
Straight
say you
up.
were texting. I said you were on it.
You just said I was
That's my
texting.
challenge.
I said you were on your phone. I
Oh,
didn't say texting.
No, I said that's my challenge.
sorry. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
All
checking
right.
my
that.
I was checking my
You got the 20,
basketball.
and
Gonzaga's losing, bro. I'm sad.
I'll be the quiet one next week. Okay.
Okay.
And I'll
All
listen, and
right.
we'll see where it goes. We'll see if this is a different texture to the podcast.
We'll see. My guess is you can't be quiet for more than 15 minutes because you'll have something to say and then it'll go off on some
Dude,
crazy 15-minute tangent.
I just want. Hey, I don't want to jinx myself, but Gonzaga is winning now. Gonzaga's
Oh,
winning.
okay.
They were down 10, now they're up 10. I'm taking it. That's who I got on
Yeah.
my bracket winning, dude. Let's go, Gonzaga. They came back, baby. Let's go. Bring me my
I love
money.
how you're like going on about a
Yeah, dude,
bracket
because
and
I'd
shit
rather
and
talk
not
about sports than the
because
freaking planet and freaking plants,
well,
dude.
pause for a second.
I
You haven't
eat
even
and
fucking
breathe and
contextualized
whatever.
what the fuck you're talking about.
We're still
You
live,
didn't
by
say,
the
"Oh,
way.
dude, I'm doing this March Madness shit,
I'm
and my
doing March
fucking team's
Madness.
winning now. My brother's doing bad." You didn't say that. You
We're
just
still
started going off
live.
on some weird shit. I'm aware of that.
Oh, okay.
I'm a fucking idiot. Holy shit.
Yep, Gonzaga's winning. Called it.
All right, for Gonzaga.
Oh, let's go, Gonzaga.
Until next week, folks.
I don't
We're
know.
signing
I don't
off.
know who voted. Who won.